Hello and welcome back to another video. We're taking a bit of a break from the training for my first powerlifting meet, as when this video goes live I'll be in the middle of my mock meet on my competition against myself. That video will go live next week, but for this week's video I thought I would review a year in my powerlifting training. I basically started more towards this focus around this time last year, so I thought it'd be a good time to sort of review any footage I've got, talk through sort of how I started, how I progressed, and see where I am now and sort of compare the two. Yeah, the first footage I've got from my Instagrams, which, by the way, if you don't follow, links are down below. Basically, all my content goes there first for sort of lifting stuff, so check those out. But the first video I've got is from the 30th of October, so the day of recording today is the 30th of October 2020, so it's pretty much exactly a year. The footage is spaced out, as you'll see, and I thought I'd just watch through, talk through all my various lifts that you see in these, focusing on the main three: the squats, the bench, and the deadlift, and just talk through sort of the past year, really. So let's get straight into that. Okay, so what I thought I'd do to start with is actually look at where this all began. This was actually September 2019, so it predates sort of the year a little bit. This was my current physique at the time of this photo. This was sort of middle of September 2019. I was weighing around 80 to 81 kilograms. As you can tell, not in the best of shape, holding quite a lot around my belly especially at this point, and from this point on, really, this is where I started taking my training a bit more seriously. I was going multiple times a week at this point to strength train. I was also, hence the hand wraps, training Muay Thai once a week, which I continue to do to this date. And if you stick around to the end, I will show you sort of my latest physique update, which was a couple of weeks ago, and compare sort of how that's progressed over the past year. But this was my starting point. Okay, so this is the first footage I've got on either of my Instagrams of any of sort of my main lifts of the squat, bench, and deadlift, and I'm just gonna watch it. I've put it all together. It's about 50 minutes of footage. You'll see the bits that I actually talk about of any interest, and any sort of anecdotes I have about it. But yeah, this is the first footage. This is where I started, October last year. And yeah, let's see how I get on with this 100 kilograms. So this was at I think the first gym I joined since I moved to Yorkshire. I mean, the depth's not there, is it? The depth's not there at all. I'm about halfway up, but at this point, I wasn't actually aiming for powerlifting. This was just for general fitness and general strength. My programming was very much just strength work. It wasn't focused on powerlifting just yet. So the fact that I'm not going all the way down, I'm okay with, because that's just how sort of my how my mobility was at that point. I'm still moving the weight, okay, not full range of motion for sort of powerlifting standards, but at that point I was happy with the weight. But yeah, looking back on it, it's interesting, because now I would be shocked if I was at that depth. Some more squats, same rack, same place. I think this was me testing my 1 rep max before the end of the year. I mean, shaky, leant forward, no depth. Why did I keep going high? I think I just wanted to prove that I can move a bit of weight. Okay, about 2/3 of the way down. That's okay. No belt, bad footwear. I'm not saying you need a belt, by the way, or good footwear, but generally speaking, you don't want to be squatting in running shoes like I was, because it's just not very stable. I mean, I moved it, but yeah. Okay, I don't even think I got halfway there. I don't even think I got halfway. But again, just happy I moved it. So deadlifts, actually, before last year, before 2019, I'd never deadlifted before. To me, it was a very complex movement, and I didn't want to injure myself, so I wanted to make sure I was doing them properly. So I took a long time working up to sort of heavier weights, and using sort of the lighter, thinner bumper plates to start with to get my technique down. And initially, I think before these were even recorded, A lot of my deadlifts were very much sort of a hybrid between stiff leg and conventional, probably more towards stiff leg. So I worked with my coach, same coach that I've got now, to work on that to be a proper conventional deadlift. And yeah, I've progressed quite a lot, to be honest. But yeah, really scared of that at the beginning because I didn't want to injure my back. You hear about people doing the backs out with wrong technique. So I wanted to make sure my technique was on point. But happy with 6 times 100, you know, that was good. At this point, I was still using double overhand, even on the heavy ones. I mean, I get it halfway up and then my grip just goes. So this is now, I've changed gym because they had better equipment. At this one, it's a bit quieter. I had a haircut and I'm deadlifting in just socks now because I didn't want my, you know, I read a few things around footwear, and obviously being a bit closer to the ground is slightly advantageous as well as more stability. So yeah, pretty good. Up in weight again. Feeling pretty strong in this gym. The equipment felt pretty good. Sort of the vibe in the gym was good. So yeah, pretty happy with how deadlift progressed at the beginning of the year. So at this point, beginning of 2020, I actually signed up for the first competition that I said I'm going to push myself for. It was the Graft House one, the Powerhouse one. The one I was meant to do again tomorrow. When this goes live, it'll be today. But I'm still doing, obviously, against myself in my home gym. So it's the same competition that was meant to be in March this year, but didn't go ahead because of coronavirus. But yeah, January 2020 was when I started powerlifting, sort of main focus. I literally said, you know, I'm really enjoying the big lifts. It's competitive. I want to push myself that way. I signed up for a meet at the beginning of the year and was like, well, there's my goal. That's my target. So I peaked towards that date initially, and then obviously coronavirus hit. I peaked towards this date, tomorrow/today when you watch it, and again coronavirus hit, and obviously competitions aren't really going ahead apart from the elite. So yeah, I'm still going to compete against myself and look for another date next year. Fingers crossed they go ahead next year and I can actually get on the platform for real, because I honestly think I would benefit massively from being in that environment. But yeah, let's just see how I progress. This is close to my first peaking date, I believe. Nice grind. Got it though. No pause. Wouldn't pass in a meet, but just pleased I hit 107.5. So at this point in my programming, I was programming for myself. Very much at this point, it was close to my peaking date, so I was working on very low reps, so 2 to 4 reps, I think, heavy weight. And yeah, programming for myself with a few accessories here and there, but again, heavy accessories to hopefully help that sort of tie me over as well. This was close to the date itself. I believe it was about a week away from the date, so I was just testing my strength on my deadlift. Pretty happy with how 150 moved at that point. Okay, so this is humble beginnings. This is the beginning of the home gym. This one sheet of rubber. Obviously coronavirus hit the UK around March this year, where everything sort of went on lockdown. So a lot of this time I was spent doing work with what I had, which at this point was 2 10-kilogram dumbbells, 2 5-kilo dumbbells, and 2 3-kilogram dumbbells, a few resistance bands. So I was doing as much work with that as I could. It was very limited. I did then manage to get my hand on some weights, a bar, and then obviously the platform that you see in a lot of my videos now, which I built over time. And yeah, when I got all the weights, put them all on the bar. Even though it's not recorded, 160 was my previous PB just before lockdown hit. So yeah, I just, got the equipment, got a bit giddy and wanted to test myself. So yeah, gave myself a go. Slow, but got it up. And yeah, the first one didn't record, so it was actually a second single of 160. So even happy with that. So around this time was when I got back in touch with my coach. I said, look, I've got some weights now. Could you program for me? I'm aiming for a November date, which, might move. But that's the date I'm going to aim towards. Can we sort of work on some programming together? and sort of get me moving some heavy weights. So this is the first of his programs that he sent me. Again, there were accessories around this, but focus on the big three, relatively heavy weight on them, and just pushing myself a little bit. Again, on these, depths looking a lot better, so I'm happy with this 105. 115 times 5 was one of my first sticking points. I had a couple of times where it just didn't feel good. So these were usually 3 sets of 5, and I could usually get the first set fine, and then second and third set would be a bit iffy. This was sort of the first one I had to sort of fight past and be like, look, I'm getting it. It's just a matter of time, you know. I also had one day, I don't know what it was, I think it was related to me squatting heavy. I had sort of a red rash come down my neck, which sort of scared me a little bit of obviously putting heavy weight on my back. And when there's any rash on you, but never mind your neck, it does sort of put you up a little bit. But yeah, we fought past it to get to 117 and 120 later, and now more. So yeah, it was just one of those fights, you know. So as I just mentioned about the squats, I think this is the one where I psyched myself out in my window. You can see my window on the left there, on the door, sorry. And I think I psyched myself out. Previously, it was always facing the other way, and I didn't see myself. This was sort of the heaviest I've done for reps in a while. This 115 and 117. So yeah, they were pretty tough. It was pretty hot that day as well. Obviously, didn't really have a home gym properly at this point. So after the fourth, I knew the fifth. Looking how hard that fourth is, I knew the fifth wasn't going to happen. So I was like, let me rest and let me get my fifth as a single, and I'll come back to it. Okay, so this is part of one of my next programs. So we've run about 3 different programs throughout the past sort of 6 months. It's just a bit more high volume work. So a little bit less weight, but more volume. Higher reps, and sort of really trying to push past those higher numbers. So it's a little bit different than what I was used to. I don't enjoy it as much as sort of the low rep heavy weight stuff, but I can see its benefit. So again, with deadlifts, we just up the weight, up the reps rather, not the weight. And with these ones, what I tend to try to do was just speed reps. As fast as I can push that weight off the floor and pull it up, the better, and sort of work on that explosive power a little bit. And I would like to say that helped a little bit and transitioned across to sort of my heavier work, but it felt quite good, and it felt a bit fun to spice things up a little bit like that. As part of that programming that my coach did at this point, he also put squats, a lot of squats, 20, at the end of my upper body focus day, my bench focus day. I spoke to him about this and said, why have you done this? And the reason behind it was, it's not only the physical strength you need to get through that many reps, but the mental grit at the end of a session to then go, hang on a sec, I've now got 20 reps of squats to do, to push through. And there were days where I found it tough, there were days I couldn't, and there were days that I pushed through and it felt tough, but afterwards you're like, holy cow, I just hit 20 reps at the end of like an hour and a half session. Whew. Mental gains are equal, if not better, than physical gains sometimes. So yeah, just consider doing something like that at the end of one of your sessions if you want to really push yourself physically and mentally. Okay, so the next phase of my programming was tempo work, which if you go back to my videos, you'll see some footage of this as well. Tempo work on every single exercise. So it's a 3-second eccentric. So this went obviously squat, bench, deadlift, 3-second eccentric, but also on all the accessories. So Bulgarian split squats, walking lunges, chest flies, all those things. It's 3-second eccentric, and it was brutal. Around this time it was really friggin' warm as well, hence the fan in the background. So, you know, trying to go out and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in direct sunlight for a while to get these reps in, and then yeah, 3-second eccentric. Brutal, but honestly, you feel like it works your body so well. And if you're not doing tempo work, or you've never done tempo work, I would strongly consider doing it. I think that's possibly had one of the biggest carryovers to my main 3 lifts, not only in the control I have in those lifts, but in the sort of muscle mass I've got based on those eccentric work lifts, because doing those slow controlled reps put your muscles under more time under tension, which obviously then increases your muscle growth. So yeah, 20 reps of squats again, friggin' love it. So it's the same program but just tempo work. So what I was doing before, just slowed down basically. And yeah, in the background, a little shout out to the beginning of the home gym in August. It should be finished on Tuesday, fingers crossed. So watch out for a video on that in the next few weeks as well, once I've got more equipment in there and it feels actually lived in rather than an empty box. But yeah, as you can see in the background here as well, it's still increasing. The amount of rubbish we've got in the background, which is actually offshoots of the obviously what was the decking before and is now the home gym. So deadlifts as well, as fast as I could up, and then 3 seconds on the way down, which is absolutely brutal, but it really helps you figure out the way down technique, which sounds weird, but for me it helped anyway to sort of think of that a little bit more. And yeah, again, you really feel it, and your grip as well. Oh my god, the grip strength from doing these, because obviously you're just holding it for longer, right? It's going to work your grip. Okay, so about a couple of months out from when my projected meet day was, we started getting onto the heavyweight low reps again. So yeah, working back up to heavy 5s, 3s, 2s and 1s over the next sort of 8 weeks. Let's see how the depth is on these. Yeah, it looks okay. I think it could be a bit deeper, but I reckon that would get 3 lights. It felt pretty good. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty controlled. Let me know below if you think my squats from sort of August onwards would get 3 white lights or not, or if you think they would fail and I need to get deeper still. Next progress of the home gym. So yeah, over time we've reduced the reps from 5 to 3, and we've increased the weight again, sort of pushed myself a bit more. And as you can see, this is just touch and go reps, a bit of a wobble there, but at this point I was just glad to move that weight. That was pretty heavy. So these want to be sets of 3, but on days where I felt like it felt good and it moved well and I moved fast and I had it in me, I just go for a 4th rep. If you can push your body that little bit more safely, then I say do it. It's also a mental win, right? It's also your mind going, you know what, you got told 3, but you push for 4 because you know you've got it. And it's that little mental win that I think helps more than anything. Pretty happy with that. So this was my 1 rep max for my first peaking date, which would have been March, 160 kilograms. So the fact that I was aiming to do it for 3 reps and I managed to get a 4th rep, at this point honestly was a huge mental win for me. It felt incredible to hit my previous 1 rep max for 4 reps. So this was a huge boost to my mental at this stage. I'm pretty close to my competition as well. Similar with squats, my previous 1 rep max was 130, so hitting heavier than that for 3. Oof. Originally, sort of back in February, March, I would have said my squat was my weakest lift. I just didn't feel that confident in it, but now, yeah, I think it's been really good block of training for my squat. I think it's progressed massively, and I'm really pleased with how I've got with it. I just need to ensure the depth's there. That's one thing I will definitely take into the mock meet. So the one I would say I personally have found the hardest is bench press. Yeah, I just don't think it's progressed as well as I would have liked, should I say. So these are getting onto my heavies now. Still feeling pretty good at 180. Still felt pretty strong. Same with squats. Having a net there just to support me, but this one, I think this is the one that absolutely flew up. So let's see if this is the one or if it was another one that I was wrong. Deep brace. Yeah, that was the one that felt good, and I laughed to myself being like, what? I thought that was meant to be heavy. Yeah, but it felt good. So this is my previous touch and go max before. I just hit a pause, but with a bit of a wobble. Probably wouldn't get 3 lights. But I got the weight up, right? And this is now, I think, my current 1 rep max, 190. This new bumper plates makes all the difference, obviously, to get maxes. And again, it moved better than I expected, hence the laugh. I honestly thought I'd be really slow, but it moved pretty well. After I got off the ground, it moved pretty well. So this is getting to the point now where I'm really testing how far I can take my body before my meet. This first time benching with the bumper plates, and yeah, just didn't move after that point. Weight just wouldn't move at all. So this photo was taken at the end of September, so about 4 weeks from now. And I'll show you a side by side in a second, but yeah, this was my physique after about a year of training, dieting. I'm hovering between sort of 70 and 72 kilograms consistently. A big grin on my face. Still areas for improvement in my opinion, but I think quite drastic changes than what I was like, and I feel a lot happier and a lot more confident in my body. Obviously with losing that weight, I also gained quite a bit of strength, so like overall pretty darn happy. And this is the comparison, a year of training, September to September. Yeah, big changes between sort of, you know, belly fat reduced massively, fat around my neck has dropped dramatically, the shape around my shoulders and my back, and my chest significantly different, my arms even a bit thinner. You know, big changes. I'm really happy with what I've got in the past year. I know there's more changes I can make, both strength wise and sort of body composition wise, but you know, I've got a lifetime ahead of me to do that. The next year I might do another review of this to see what 2 years of powerlifting's like, and yeah, that's where we're at. I didn't realize, but my cat joined us as well. So yeah, that's my first year of powerlifting. Technically not quite a year, because like I said, the first few months weren't powerlifting focused, but I thought now was the perfect time to sort of show that and showcase what's happened in the past year. If you've enjoyed this, let me know, and I'll do one next year maybe. If you've got, you know, progress over the past however many years, let me know what your progress has been, what your sort of lifts have been from heaviest, you know, your new 1 rep maxes and stuff, and your strength gains, or just your body composition gains. Yeah, if you've enjoyed it, consider giving it a like, and if you're not already, consider subscribing. I'm aiming for 169 as my next arbitrary random number that I just threw into the mix by the end of the year, and we're currently about 13 away from it, so every single one counts and every single one makes me incredibly happy. Like I said at the beginning of the video, by the time you're watching this, I'll be in the middle of my mock meet in my home gym, so wish me luck for that, and there'll be a video to come next Sunday that will sort of recap my mock meet. If you do want to see those lifts earlier, follow both my Instagrams down below, as stories and posts will be up there sooner than they will be on YouTube. And yeah, I hope you're all staying well, I hope you're all staying safe, but for now, as always, bye. Why? Bullshit.